double meaning. So anyway, yeah, dinner's coming up after the show. But last week, Patrick called in and put out a challenge to the listeners and viewers of the Atheist Experience. And I got criticized about something, and that's that the folks who listened to the show did not and couldn't see the show. Were irritated that I did not describe the hat that I was wearing.
Oh, well, it was...
So for all you people who listen to the show and don't watch it, I'm still not going to.
Oh, okay.
No, I had a Jester's hat on, a nice multicolored red, blue, and yellow Jester's hat with bells and everything, because I'm a fool.
Where you would get that sort of thing? I mean, where did you just... Is it been in your...
I've had it for years.
You would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be just something that you'd find in Matt's house.
Yes. We won't talk about the other things we can find in Matt's house.
But you don't have the little shoes with the bells on the toes.
No.
To go with the hat.
And no tights and none of that stuff.
Well, now that's
I do have a kilt, though. So one of these days I'll come in.
You're
with
not
a
really
kilt
dedicated to the whole fool thing.
No,
it's just an affectation with the hat.
I'm a pretend fool.
You're a poser.
But Patrick doesn't think so.
Oh, Dale, yeah.
His challenge was for viewers of the Atheist Experience and listeners to email him to let him know if they disagreed with his lawsuit against Ray Comfort and Living Waters Media.
Yes.
And
people,
man, you guys are rough.
People responded to the challenge, all right.
Yeah.
That's to put it mildly.
I haven't had time to do much besides check email.
Well, I mean, that a whole week later, it's still pouring in.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you think we're rude and abrasive on the air, good grief.
Some of you were way harsher than I would have ever been, so that makes me feel good that I'm not, screwing up when I get irritated at people. But the crux of the situation, to kind of give everybody an update of what's going on. And by the way, the number's up. You guys are free to call in at any time and talk about whatever you want, what happened last week, what's happening this week, what you believe and why, always a preferred subject. But the crux of what's gone on since then is, as I predicted, and actually this happened before we went on the air last week, I just hadn't heard about it yet. Ray Comfort used the lawsuit as an opportunity to
make his snarky little remarks.
Make remarks and make atheists look foolish because, when you do something like that, you do look foolish. He also, according to Patrick, invited Patrick to a public debate on the existence of God.
Of course he did.
And my response in email, which was one of the last responses I sent out, was, of course he did. I'm surprised he didn't ask you to go on tour with him. You are now the perfect straw man for atheism, because he can hold you up and show that you're irrational, quick to sue, all these other things. I don't know what your
quick
ability
to emotional
is.
overreactions to things.
I don't know what your ability is.
Easy
your abilities
to,
are
easy
with regard
to anger.
arguing the existence of God. But I can't imagine, based on performance on last week's show, that you'd be particularly good at debate. But that's okay. So I asked Ray if he'd be willing to come to Austin to debate me.
And he said?
The same thing he said the last few times I posted it. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Right. He is debating P.C. Myers, though.
Yes, which is going to be a bloodbath. I mean,
that's going to be beautiful.
Let's see. Completely uneducated nitwit versus actual biologist talking about evolution. I mean, it's just, if you've ever seen a squirrel that's been hit by a semi on the freeway, I mean, that's our poor boy Ray after Tuesday morning, and I think that,
who knows? Maybe he's actually got the evidence that he claims, and he can make his case.
Or he'll just trot out all the usual crap about how there are no transitional fossils except for all the millions that we do have.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably bring up the whole, if you see a painting, there's a painter thing. That's one of his little lines. He might pull the Coke can out, unless the rational responders pretty much schooled him on that one. But he'll probably find something else now, like a milk carton, or.
I bet he doesn't use the banana argument.
No, that's true. I'd like to see him use the pineapple, though. I'd like to see him try to rationalize how. Look, it's all prickly and strange, and you can't easily peel it, and it doesn't really fit in your hand unless you're going to use it as a blunt instrument. So obviously it was
like the top you can grab on and chuck it and get really good distance.
So obviously it was created for us to eat.
I think it was created as a weapon.
Oh.
The fact that we happen to eat it means we're defying God's will.
Oh.
See?
So you're going to hell if you eat pineapples.
So anyway, his threat of a lawsuit, they did the right thing right off the bat. They pulled it off while they consulted with their lawyers. And then they decided they were going to give out the bumper sticker for free. Bravo, Patrick. I mean, granted, I don't really care. I'd love a free bumper sticker. I asked Ray if I could have one. I didn't get an answer to that either. But if your real goal is to get something removed because you have a problem with it, clearly having them give it away for free is not a positive result for you. So yeah, it was just step after step of let's make them look as silly as we
I
can.
mean, Patrick just handed Ray Comfort this awesome PR opportunity to look good.
Yeah.
He gave the most income.
Well, not to look bad.
Well, to look,
or any worse.
Well, to look as,
You can't shine a turd.
Yeah, well, except, to Ray's little coterie of other turds that he appeals to. But he just handed, Ray Comfort, probably the dumbest and most dishonest apologist in all of pop Christianity, an opportunity to shine, to look like the good guy and to look like the reasonable one. That's especially nuts.
Yeah, especially
when you make
when
Ray
his
Comfort
responses
look
still weren't
reasonable. Yeah, when you make Ray Comfort look reasonable, even using the most unreasonable arguments he already has.
So Patrick,
you've really screwed up, Patrick. I mean,
Patrick did more. There's more.
Oh.
After he started off, as he was getting responses and email from you guys, not only would you send one to him, then we'd get a copy, and then we'd get an email from Patrick saying, "I've received 1, I've received 2, I've received 3." He stopped counting at about 7 or so, and he was like, "So far, only 7 atheists disagree with me." No, all right. The correct way to look at that is, so far 100% of the respondents have disagreed with you. It's not a representation of how many atheists disagree with you or what percentage of atheists. But out of the pool that you sampled from, so far 7 have disagreed with you. The important thing to me is that throughout this entire thing, and the emails are still coming in, there's only one person who might have agreed with him, but some of us are convinced, the email was very, very short, that it may have been sarcasm, and we haven't been able to find out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the person isn't saying, so it could have either been snark or not.
So Ray Comfort's lawyers got together, sent an email to Patrick, and basically said, "We've got thousands of Christian lawyers on the case. You don't have a case, and if you sue us, we'll take you to federal court. Ha-ha." And then Patrick wrote back and said, "Well, I've now heard from 40 atheists in the Austin area who disagree with me, and so I won't be pressing that lawsuit." So the lawsuit's gone. But the weird thing for me is that not only did he say he found 40 atheists that in the Austin area that disagree with him, which isn't true because not all of those were from Austin.
No,
but
and it's a lot more than 40 now.
Yeah, it's way more than 40 now.
Because you folks just won't leave them alone.
Yes, but you can leave us alone. You don't have to copy us on the emails anymore.
No more CCing to us. We got it. Just
unless you agree with Patrick, don't CC me anymore.
And why don't you want to hear from those people? Just
because I'm curious and what their reasons are.
Yeah.
If somebody thinks that I'm wrong, I'm always interested in why. If their best reason is just because they think I'm wrong, well, okay, see ya. But the thing was, when he talked about those 40 atheists that disagreed with him, he didn't in any way concede that his mind had been changed.
Oh, no.
What he did instead was say that these atheists evidently don't mind being called fools, and they're crappy atheists who are unwilling to defend themselves and are just fine with Christians bullying us around. Get over yourself. Your persecution complex has gotten old. It's gotten old quick. This is the last time we'll actually be talking about you on the show. I don't need to be copied on any more emails along this subject. And unless, I'm wrong, in which case let me know.
But it seems very, very clear to us that you were never really interested in hearing from and dialoguing with other atheists who may or may not disagree with you. What you were looking for was validation.
Yeah.
And because what you're really all about, Patrick, to us at least, seems to be this incredible personal investment you have in seeing yourself as some sort of champion of atheism all around. And if your best response when, right now I think we're looking at well over 150 emails, at least that we've gotten, saying you're wrong for doing this, this is not the right way to go about it, you're not doing atheism any favors, you're making us all look bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When 100% of the emails coming in are like that, and your response to all of those people is, well, obviously you're just bad atheists, and you're cowards, and you won't stick up for yourselves, and you're embarrassed to defend your atheism. I mean, obviously that's the case with us being here on television. It's why we're on television, because we're obviously embarrassed to defend our atheism.
Yeah. And then the cool thing was the cowardly move that followed.
Yeah. So this is a guy on an ego trip. It's not really a guy who is out to do anything for atheism, actually, despite all of his claims. I'm a champion for atheism. No, he's out there on an ego trip.
Yeah, I mean, you've done good things in the past, and I understand that you've been slighted and probably legitimately wronged by people who are religious and who wronged you for religious reasons.
But you're picking the wrong battle here.
And there you actually may have some cause to seek something. However, when somebody disagrees with you and your response is to, as you did in this case, contact the FCC in order to lodge a complaint against their program. Patrick was nice enough to email me and let me know that he'd lodged a complaint with the FCC because I called him an asshole. The funny thing is that the first time the word asshole was used on the show on that particular episode was when I was reading his email that called me an asshole.
Yeah, you were reading what he had written to you.
And I responded in kind. I probably should have said asshat or something else, but...
sphincter muscle.
Yes. So, not every show, I guess, is going to be suitable for repeat in the afternoon. I've dropped over the past 3 years 2, maybe 3 F-bombs. Batshit crazy's been coming up a lot lately. I don't really bother with that too much. The thing is, complaining to the FCC does no good. This is cable. It's public access. You should have complained to PACT. And if you want
now
to,
he will.
If you want to,
yeah.
Not like I'm going to stop him. If you want to, feel free.
Not like it's not going to do anything.
If complaints just because somebody happened to use a word, and what's the deal? What exactly is it about that word that's magical that makes it worse than some other word?
Well, this is just more going to the matter of character here. What you're dealing with is a guy who you say something that he doesn't like, and he just, his response is to either threaten you with lawyers or some whatever authoritative body that he can call up against you. It's more punishment rather than, well, I'll try to engage you on your own terms.
Yes.
He can't do that. So
I'm unable to actually debate and support my position with logic and reason.
I'll sick the law on you.
So I'll sue you or contact the appropriate authorities. Well, bring it on.
Are we done with him?
We are done.
Can we just be done with him?
Moratorium, Patrick Green.